Hello, welcome to this live stream. Been a while. January was crazy, so we're here in the middle of February, and we're doing a live stream. Is robot bent wires worth it? Is it fast enough? So I've been getting some questions, a lot of comments, and I'm going to have a whole separate video on the wire bending machine and the questions and the comments that we've been having. I'd like to answer them all because I'm here testing the whole concept of a wire bender in a small ortho lab. And so what I have today is 5 of these pans. Both of them have 2 models, and I haven't touched these. And it's got, well, you can't really see. If I do this, you can see it. They all got pre-bent wires. So this is how a lot of my cases come now. But the cool thing about this set is I haven't touch this at all until you're going to see my live reaction to this. So my son came in and printed the models, and while he's printing the models, he sent the wires to be designed at the CDC, not what you think it is, Cloud Design Center. It's a beta of the Denic Ortho wire bender. It's a beta version of designing your wires for you. So he uploaded the models, typed in what he wanted them to design, and then the next day he came in and they were done, and he could download those files and print them out and adjust them a little bit. So I don't know how well he adjusted them. It's still a learning process for both of us. The better adjustment you get, the better you do in the software, the better the wires come out. And we're starting to learn a few things of what not to do and what to do when you're designing the wires. So it's very interesting. So I've already prepped 8 of them. So I'm going to show you what I'm doing to prep the rest of these. Stop that. I just faded it to black. Didn't even know that button was there. All right, so let me zoom in a bit. So I'm just going to prep. Now, one thing about designing these on the computer is these gums aren't prepped yet. So you actually have to take the Adams clasp and drag them into the gums just a little bit. And you kind of got to be able to envision it, how well it's going to do. You gotta remind me to start the clock when I start adapting these wires. So that's the main thing we're doing today, is that we're going to be adapting these. Maybe I can get all 10 done in an hour. I know if I bent all these, it'd take me more than an hour. It'd probably take me minimum of 30 minutes per set per 2. And that's if I'm just flying and everything's going perfect. But we'll see how much I have to adjust, and it's only going to get better, actually, the more you mess with something. Of course, just like regular wire bending, the more you wire bend, the better you get at it. So I'm just waxing it. Ooh, that is a big old drain hole right there. So I'm just doing a little waxing. This is just going to be an acrylic block instead of a tooth there, so I'm not too worried about it. I'm going to put a little bit, is there any, I think that's fine. Is there a little bit of wax here? Let's move that down. That way my acrylic doesn't get up under there, because I do print these hollow. Although lately I've been printing the lowers as solid because it seems to be it does a better job. Wax. I'll do like printing them solid on the lower, because you can see it's not doing much here. It all gets filled up with support wires. Support wires. Gosh, supports. Okay, so that's what I did to prep these. And like I said, I've already got 8 prepped. We're going to let that one dry over there. And all right, let's get started. Now, I want to thank my friend Adam Erickson over at Black Bear. He printed 3D printed this for me, and he's got like skateboard grip tape on this side, and it's great for these lower ones for my model holder that I'm addicted to. So, works out perfect. Otherwise, I'd usually put a base on there, and it does its thing. All right. So let's, it's 5:38. Okay, so let's just see how many I can get done in an hour. And I am gonna have to hand bend one wire component on the lower of the, is this? I didn't even go to that one. It fit pretty good for if it didn't go to that one. Looking for the name. Okay, I have these backwards. I have been known to do that. All right, let's just pull these out, put them here. So those are all the wires that got bent by the wire bending robot. So I do need to adjust this. See, it's a little wider than it should be. So I'm just gonna tweak it a bit. Looks pretty good. Okay. Whatever I tweaked, I messed it up. It was a lot better the first time. Oh, and I do have a surprise for y'all. I just have a duck cam. I have a button quill cam. So those are button quill. Oh, it's kind of freezing up on me. Of course it is. Now that I'm live streaming. So I got a little button quill camera going on out there. My daughter just had to have button quill. So there was an update in the software, and I had to recalibrate this, and looks like it needs some more recalibration. All right. That tail is longer than that one, but I'll shorten this side later. There goes Pete crowing. Got my windows open, so if the animals outside are extra loud today, that's the reason why. All right, so I'm gonna tack those down with sticky wax. And then this is the one that I do have to bend myself, and that's mainly because there's not a program yet in there on how to bend this. I think some programs you can design your own, but this one right now, actually this one's a new one. It was requested by Inman Orthodontic Lab, who has a machine in there, in their lab too. Actually, I think they have 2 machines now. We had a training at the Inman Ortho Lab, and that was another reason why I haven't been able to live stream very much, because of traveling. So this is a specialty thing just for this doctor. He likes to have these vertical cuts on his retainers, and turns them into slight, like, spring aligners. So we put a little mushroom spring here, and I'm sure this will be easy to bend by the machine. They just need to program it in there. So it'd be one thing, something I'm going to probably submit to Dr. Neal's team before long. It's too long. Cut that down a little bit. Okay, that one's longer than that one. Let me see if I can shorten up this. Didn't realize how off that was. Let me make this longer since I made that one shorter. And if you ever seen the background I use for this live stream, there are pictures of how I used to do these 20 years ago. And it took 3 wires. We did a thick wire, kind of like you do for a spring, and then we did a little mushroom spring, and then we did, you know, support wire, and so this has been streamlined down to just 2 wires. And what I like to see is have that just right on top of that continuous rest right there. That hurt a little bit, my finger. Where's 3 prongs? 3 prongs? Where are you? There we go. There we go. All right, so now, how do I keep this attached? We used to wax them, and there just would be wax inside the acrylic entrapped. And then I came across this stuff, fix-it powder. And it's great for repairing acrylic, like after you've finished it and you find there's an air bubble or something. This stuff cures in about 3 minutes without a pressure pot. So, and it doesn't, you know, regular acrylic, if you don't use a pressure pot, it bubbles up. This is a little different, but you can't use too much of it. So I'll just put a little dab of that on there, and that's, man, why does it seem really dark? Maybe it's my computer. No, maybe it is my computer. Brighten up a bit. There we go. Okay, so the continuous rest is machine bent. That mushroom spring is hand bent. What we're going to do is we'll cut through here, and then those 2 wires are going to be like a swivel joint, so the whole retainer will move around. So let's grab okay, this is machine bent. I haven't touched it yet. Yeah, it looks a little wide. I'm going to do a little more calibration on the machine. I've seen these just absolutely just drop into place. But I am using the wire bender is wire brand agnostic, and I'm trying to help develop a simple way of calibrating a new brand of wire. So you can add a new brand of wire, say you want to use Unitech wire or something like that. They all have different bending properties. Some are more springy and they bounce back after a bend. And some are more dead soft. But you can see when it goes really well when it fits from the start. So I was going to put a little, my hot glue gun with my orange hot glue, because orange is my favorite color. And that just makes like a little dam for the labial acrylic, because I do that first and I'm doing the inside and it tends to slump on me if I'm not careful. So I'll put that there. Where's my, is this the, uh-oh. I usually have a pretty good system over here. There we go. Pan number 511. So we'll just do this upper one. There we go. It looks like they're a little wide, so I'm gonna have to do some more angle. It does have this cool feature on the wire bender where it'll automatically do it. All you have to do is just be ready to load in more wire, and it uses a camera, and it does a bend, and then it measures that bend. So it does a 18-degree bend. It measures that the bend is only 7 degrees because of the snap back, the spring back of the wire, and so that's what it does. And then it'll cut that off. It'll record what the actual angle was, and it'll record that in the system. And I have fixed these just so easily doing this. So there's my labial bow done. I don't know how long. I should have looked at the clock. There's my neighbor's donkey. Okay, Adam's clasp. I think this is one of the rare machines that does a good Adam's clasp. You can see how tight that bend is right there. You can't, a lot of the machines can't get that tight. And that just landed into place. I think I might swing this leg forward a little bit. Don't really need to. I'm just thinking of where my cut line is. And I am, okay, this one didn't fall into place. Well, the other one did so beautiful, I was hopeful. There is one of my Adam's clasp on one of these sides. It makes it smaller, so it's another thing I'll need to calibrate. And that's an honest opinion on any of the wire bending. You're gonna have to calibrate. And I'm telling you, some of y'all may already know this, the wires change with the lot numbers. So you may have a really soft batch of wires from a certain lot and some brittle, things like that. All right. So I've equated adapting these pre-bent, robot bent wires. I've equated it to whenever you do a repair and the acrylic is broke and it's beyond repairing, so you just want to replace the acrylic, and so you strip out the wires, and all you have to do is just readapt them back to the model, depending on how much adjustment there was on there. Okay, so that was 550, so it's 38 was when I started. It's 550. It's 5:38 when I started. So 5:50. That was 12 minutes or something. All right, moving to the next one. Again, this isn't a one-to-one representation because I do have to hand bend that one lingual arch. Let's grab those pre-bent wires and put them here. I wonder if y'all want some music. Just, because it gets a little crazy. Let's turn that down a lot. Okay. 551. Yeah, see how it's just slightly flared out. Oh, that's too loud, isn't it? No. Now I would change this right here. Oh, I didn't realize it was going to be that loud. So, see, this is a real-world example of how long it'll take. This is ideal because I get distracted a lot, obviously. I think that's a little long. I might just have to cut that and rebend this one. Not rebend the whole thing. Rebend this rest side over here. Not a very good scan of the mouth. But the ideal, the wire bending machine is definitely not for every lab. There's some labs, the wire bender is way more talented than I am and can bend these obviously faster than the machine. This machine probably wouldn't be good for them. But if they had a digital designer that could produce these, that would be ideal. And then, of course, they probably don't like adjusting the wires like this. All right. That is really, it's flaring wrong over there. See, it's leaning. I'll straighten it up. I think I might have just accidentally stripped off some of the separator there. Yep, like I said, this is a live reaction. I did not design these nor bend these in the machine. I might have caught some of this. So there's a lot of this might be training, but I would be impressed if my 19-year-old son who's never bent wires could hand bend something this close, day one. So he's been able to, produce these 10. Oh, I am starting a database of exactly how long it does take to design and actually how long it does take for the wire bending machine to bend, because that is useful for everyone out there to know. You can see all the sales pitches of all the wire bending machines, and do you really believe it or not? So I'm making my little mushroom spring. I know it's not a mushroom spring. I don't have a good name for it. Little spring. Baby got back spring. I don't know. Okay. Trying to make this one same length and failed. Okay. I may have to put on the AC. A little muggy out. Sometimes I can knock these out so fast. But of course, when I got eyes on me, that makes a difference. So let me cut this. Oh, and so this fix-it powder that I'm about to use, it's really good for repairs and stuff. So it does stick with regular acrylic. And so it just kind of becomes part of the acrylic whenever you go to sprinkle. Or shoot acrylic, or whatever you call it. Well, this will depend on the mood I'm in too. Sometimes I'm picky, sometimes I'm not so picky. So we're going to put a couple drops of monomer. This just uses regular monomer. So you can actually use colored monomer if you want. A lot of times, if you forgot a bite plate or something, you can use this to add a bite plate real quick. I almost said bike plate. Bite plate. Okay, so here's the ooh, I can already tell those are those were not designed at the same time Let's straighten this. See how long it made it? Now, one thing I need to teach my son is there's a button that displays all the wires at once. So you can actually see he got real close here. It almost fits in there. So I'm going to just raise it up a bit. So that button displays all the wires, so you can make sure they're not colliding with each other. The software does a pretty good job if you do all the collision stuff. The software does a good job of making sure they don't collide with each other. But I bet what happened was, well, these were designed by CDC. My son just checked them before he bent them, and he probably checked them individually without seeing it on the model at the same time. So far, labial bows have been good. Tack this down, and we are ready for the acrylic dam. Okay. Make sure I'm putting in the right case pan. All right, so now the upper. That was 151. That was 8 minutes. So one wire I had to do myself. So this one, I think that is a little wide. And how you calibrate that is you bend. They have a standard, it's called a standard parts list, and it's pretty much all the bends that you do has a wire bender, loops, right angles, and arches and things, and you print it, and then you can measure it, and then you make adjustments saying this is you increase a value. It's like this is too wide or too short. Too wide or too narrow, I guess I should say it that way. And kinda, almost. This one angle right there, I need to find where that is at. And again, there's a standard part for Adams class, left and right Adams class, because it comes out differently of the machine. Like this eyelet I'm putting wax on right now, this is the number 1. So it bends the distal one first, and then it bends the mesial one. And these are actually, I don't necessarily like that angle, but it looks good on the model. These are actually 030 wires, so they're a little thicker than normal. It's just easier. Now, one thing about that Bender S that I have, I can switch it down to 028 if I want, but it's just going to take a little time. It's a lot easier than changing out a coil. So I've just gotten to where I just bend everything in 030. And so far, it's good. I do like the extra stiffness that these Adams clasp have. So that was almost ideal. That was 2 or 3 minutes. That moved on me when I waxed it. Okay, now you see these two they're going in opposite directions. That's just, I've just learned that's the way the machine wants to go out, because the way it swings around in the machine. So it starts over here, bends this, and then goes here around, and then as it's crossing over here, this could collide with the bending arm. So it's good to, oh, that looks terrible. I just thought that was 2 minutes. Ouch. How are I hear chirping out there. Yep, they're fine, jumping around. I think the males are the ones that have bibs, like white circles under their beaks. Oh, I must have found a bug. Okay. All I did was like loosen up this joint here. And I can get a little more deep once I get the acrylic on. There we go. All right, that's 4 down. Oh, I need to paint these. I got to put my second coat on. Paint this so that just keep it in my head how many. So I need 2 layers of this separator so that it the acrylic doesn't stick, and they have to dry in between each layer. Well, there we go. There's my ones that I prepped. They did not dry. I stacked case pans on top of it, and that did not help one bit. Eric, I like my thing. It makes a big difference. And the sad thing is they don't make these model holders anymore. The other ones are spring-loaded. It was like something I was able to, at that meeting, I was able to talk to one of the guys up from Great Lakes that he was like, yeah, they, after COVID, they kind of stopped making these. Right now I'm checking, okay. Make sure I grab the right wires. I have done that before, where I have adapted the wrong wires. I had to go reprint. But hey, it didn't take much adaptation, so it was actually a pretty good fit, but it was the wrong mouth. And but it did take me a while to do this part, and I was like, man, I need some big time calibration on my wire bender, and then I figured out why it took me so long. It was those wires were meant for another model. I mean, sometimes it's pretty obvious. All right, I can't wait to run a calibration on that to see how well those are going to fit. So make a mark distal to the 2s, bend it, break my pliers. Bend it down, bend it down. I usually bend these up so that they get out of the way. I'm gonna lay this in here and mark it here. Yeah, I'm gonna be excited when it can bend one of these mushroom spring thingies. All right, do some final. I feel like I was just doing this part on the other one. And a dropper here and a dropper there. My wife is going to be so excited. I got these done. For some reason, we get a ton of these from this doctor on Monday, and it makes for a very busy Monday. Okay, so you see it did the thing. This one, whenever I design online, I definitely make this one point backwards because that's going to go right where that cut mark is going to be. So to change that, otherwise that just kind of dropped in there pretty well. To change that, I'm going to adjust here. I need to do a video of just been designing it. I may have already done it, but do more. Because as I get better, I get faster with this stuff. Just like any wire bender you're training, you know, it takes, what, 6 months before they're productive enough to make your lab any money. Oh, my thing drifted. I went too fast. I didn't let my fix-it powder set up. Like I said, it usually only takes like 3 minutes for the initial set. Blow some air on it. There we go. That looks terrible right there. Let me see if I can do a little chair side adjustment. There we go. All right. Yeah, it's pretty straight when you look at the gum lines. Teeth are messed up. That's my excuse. All right, labial bow. Yeah, this looks a little, this side's a little wide, so I need to work on my calibrating my right loops, I think. I mean, there's a lot of aspects to it. I don't even think about, you know, we do these with our hands without even thinking. But trying to train a machine to do the same things that our hands do is pretty impressive. You know, because there's the wires coming out and it, you know, it rotates 2 degrees and then it bends 4 millimeters and then rotates back and then it bends another 4 millimeters and why is this like floating in here? Okay, I think that fixed it. I think my loops are a little on the wide side. Let's wax this down. Wish I would have thought about it. Should have had a timer, or we could have a stopwatch going. Some of you are probably like, Cade, oh, that just dropped in there. I like that. Cade, I could bend these way faster than what you're adapting them. Probably can, but I can't. So there are other people like y'all else out there that are like, oh, I wish I could get wires that are 80, 90% there that I just need to adapt. So you think of these, I like to think of these also like, you know, the preformed labial bows that you could buy. Some of you folks that are my age or older would remember those. Some of you depend on them. It's like that, but it's like a custom, it's a pre-bent one just for that patient. It's not like you got 5 sizes to choose from like I do with preformed Adams clasp. It's kind of like, oh, this is made just for this patient's mouth. All right, there we go. That is the upper. I've lost count of where I'm at. 614. All right, are we gonna get all these done? Make sure. Always check the case pan number. There we go. What is that? A piece of wax? Yep. Or a blister? That's disgusting, Cade. Yep, just a hair off. I bet we could dial these in. So there's something called left hand bend and right hand bend. And it depends on how it comes out of the machine. If it goes to the left, you know, it's called left hand bend. And I think I only calibrate the left hand side. I need to go back and do the right hand. Because this one only makes it with the left hand bend. But sometimes it flips it over. And I guess that would be a right hand bend. And just that kind of just dawned on me. Like I said, when I first started, you really get the idea of how these wires are created in the software, or how the machine thinks. All right, is this the size wire? Oh, it feels thick. I'm gonna guess 032. Yep. Anybody else out there can guess the size of the wire just by feeling it? So I got about 15 minutes or so. Can I finish all 10 of these by then? Certainly not, but maybe. We'll see. I wonder if I can put timestamps on this video of when I finished each set, or each single, I guess. Yeah, I wish I would have thought about doing, well, I'll be doing more of these videos. Almost all my wires now come out of the machine. And it's about the same amount of work sometimes as just sitting down and bending it. But A, I like playing with the machine. B, it's really nice to sit down and prep a model and know your wires are 90% bent. And I get them to the acrylic stage way faster than I think I would normally. I mean, we all got a turbo mode. Bet there's some guys and gals out there that can out turbo mode my wire bending machine, and that's amazing. But those that are in the industry, let me know. Is it hard? You know, put a comment down below. Is it hard to find good wire bending techs? Are they hard to train? And my thought is this new generation's easier to train them. Don't get me wrong, need to train them how to do it by hand. I think they'll become better digital designers if they know what it takes to make it by hand. That is a call duck, and that scared me a little bit. What are they doing? In case you just missed it, those are button quails that my daughter had to have. We actually bought fertilized eggs from the guy who sells those and then hatched them ourselves. And they were the tiniest little things. They probably fit in the palm of your hand right now. They're that little. And they're beautifully marked too. But I'm trying to bring back the duck cam. It's just so hard to get signal from out there to in here with my wireless camera, aka my lab cell phone. See, I get to talking and I'm not paying attention. We had a comment. Now I've collected this comment for my next video where I go over all the questions. So if you have any questions, you're watching this recording or even the live stream, I'll collect all the questions you have about, you know, working with a wire bending robot in your lab. But anyway, I collected one of the comments, and it's a really good comment. And the guy was talking about this technology is cool, but you know, he can bend a labial bow in 2 minutes. And I'm like, good Lord, yeah, if you can bend a labial bow in 2 minutes, you probably don't need the machine. I'm gonna blow some air on that. Get that to dry up on me. There we go. Okay, so this one was actually bent the correct way. It is rocking right there. And I also wonder if some of this is the difference between the scan and how the 3D printer outputs the model. You know, is the processing, you know, it should be an exact one-to-one, you know. Man, it's such a good feeling when one of these just drops into place. I always have to check the front, make sure it's not crooked. And there is the CDC, the Cloud Design Center. They're using a machine with different wire parameters. So whenever we import it, we have to, you know, there's an edit button and you click edit and it goes, hey, new parameters detected. You want to use those? And you go, yeah. And so it lays on top of here. It'll change. It's like, okay, so you're using the JBC wire. It's a little more springy. And so it has more spring back. We need to bend it further. So it'll change the parameters in there. A lot of stuff I don't understand. Okay, so here is the upper. I'm giving myself to 638. And also, one thing I want to, this fits pretty good. I'm just going to give it a little bit more tuck in area, tuck it in, Rin Tin Tin. And also, what I don't like is, and I need my son to check this, sometimes these come out really, they don't look this short in the designer software, but when they get bent, they get short. So I'm gonna see if I can lengthen these. Now I have before, just so I don't have to bend the whole thing again, I've laser welded little ends on the end to make it more longer, because I feel like when it's that close to the acrylic edge, it can pull out easier. And I can probably see why. You see this canine, it's rotated a little bit. I mean, even bending by hand, that's kind of hard to go around and get it to really go over the embrasures. Cool thing is this doesn't get labial acrylic, so if this needs to be adjusted after the acrylic, it's easy to do. That lower does get labial acrylic, so see, it did that. See, I think there's something to do with the angle of this. If we change it to, it causes it to slip, and it makes that kick in. See, these feel almost too short also. I mean, they'll still work, you know. I just like having a little deeper into the acrylic. But, I mean, every lab's different. Maybe some labs do them that short. I gotta pull that down a little bit. It just seems too close to the gum line. And again, that's where I've had to make a few condolences. I'm using the wrong word. Where I've changed, you know, my items clasp are now 030 because it's just easier to bend them all in the same size. And, you know, the way I used to try to put circles at the end, well, just trying to get it to, you spend too much time fighting with the software to be able to do that, that sometimes it's easier to do it by hand afterwards. Okay, I got 10 minutes to get through the other two. Can I make it? I don't know. Depends on what you run into. I don't think I did the second coat. I'm gonna do a coat just to be safe. The worst thing is getting a stuck retainer on the model. That is, oh. My wife doesn't cuss, but if it's, she cusses whenever one's stuck to the model. But like I said, she's gonna be excited. I'm getting all these done tonight. So Monday will go a lot smoother. So they'll be ready to go. She doesn't have to wait on me. All right, let's dump out the wires here and support pads from the 3D printing. Okay, there's lingual and a little wide. And really an odd shaped arch of the mouth. I would probably have this dry all the way before I do it, but I'm trying to get this bent. I guess, do I call this wire bending? More like wire adjusting. Okay, wax, set up. Oh, that needs to be adjusted a little bit. That went too. There we go. There's a little barely on the tooth, so I just put a little bend to flare it out just a bit. All right. Is this 028? Yes, it is. I don't know how you can see the order that I do this in. I do the lingual rest, and then I do this mushroom spring, and then I do the labial bow. And I just have them stacking on top of each other from the bottom up, because it's kind of hard to do the labial bow and then try to tuck in the lingual arch behind it. Mark, Matthew. All right. There we go. Okay, Kate, slow down. It's not a race. I mean, it kind of is, but... Okay. Let me go ahead and cut this. I don't know what that separator is going to do once I put the fix-it powder on. We'll see. Sarah, if you're watching this, sorry if this one sticks. But I have a clock to beat. I do not like how that turned out. This thing dipped down underneath there and that bothers me. See, I'm getting picky. And my clock beating is going, clock time beating, whatever the words are. Words are hard. That's why I bend wires. Let's reapply. I need to change the tip on that fix-it powder, because it really does come out fast. So you can kind of see it's a little flat this time. But, oh, that really did nailed it. Okay, so let's add the wax. And I'm not going to look at the time until I get this waxed. Don't look at the time. And 32. I got 6 minutes. I'm saying that because I started at 5:38 after I got all my talkings done. Oh no, this is going to be another short acrylic. Oh, I'm not even in the picture. Y'all need to yell at me when I'm not in the picture. Ah, thank you for the thumbs up, whoever's on Facebook. I'm new to Twitch. I'm streaming to Twitch, but I don't know if there's a thumbs up feature on there or not. I'm trying to reach a generation of kids that this is a cool job to have. Y'all probably don't believe me, but you get to work from home. Well, okay, you can work in big labs, small labs, you can own your own business. But the bad thing is it takes so long to train. Now, if I was redesigning this, I'd probably make the loops smaller. And there's a drop-down menu there's a labial bow settings area. And there's a drop-down menu. This is actually 5.8 millimeters wide. And you can go 5.3, you can go 4.8, you can get pretty small. Like if I do a 2-to-2 labial bow, I'll do 5.3 or 4.8 millimeters. This one slipped when it was bent, I can tell. Yeah, I don't like these acrylic wires. Something just flew on my shoulder, I don't like it. I got 4 minutes. All right, I'm down to the last one. Am I going to make it? Oh, not down to the last one yet. See how short those are? I need to tell my son not to make those so short. So if those do get pulled out of the acrylic, I'm probably going to remake those for free for the doctors. But the cool thing is, the model's on file. If they don't give me the model, I can just reprint the model. And the wires are on file, so it does keep the wire files on file. I don't know how to say that. So you can just go look up the name of the patient name, and you can pull the wires up, readjust them, make these longer, and rebend. Done. 6:35. I did it. I did all 10 in less than an hour with talking. Oh, I did not do this. I do like using this for labial acrylic. It makes a nice sharp line to be able to get your knife under it to separate it. Because once you get it out of the pressure pot, it's soft and you can peel it off. So that is it. Oh, that looks weird. We did all these. So there's 2 in each one. There's 10 of them. We did it in an hour. So I'm thankful for that. If anybody's interested in this machine, you can fill out a form. Actually, I think I got a barcode? No, QR code. So you scan this barcode, QR code, and it's a form. You fill it out, and it's a link directly to the manufacturer, to Dr. Neil, who's co-designer of this. He's an orthodontist in China. He's a co-designer of this machine. Machine is from Germany, built in China. And I believe the machine is 21 or 22,000. So way cheaper than the competition. The software will be a monthly fee. I'm not sure what that is. I feel like 150, but it does everything from wire bending to aligners to marpies to it can base your model and label your model, all that stuff. So it's kind of a Swiss Army knife of softwares. But you also need to check import tariffs. So for some reason, I think I think the administration lowered it to 10 coming from China, 10%. But for some reason, dental equipment's at 57. I don't know what's going on there. So you'll have to, but you only have to pay for part of the bender. So 21,000, 5 of it's for the machinery, and that's the dental equipment. The rest is for software, and you don't have to pay income tax tariffs on that. So anyway, I thought that'd be interesting. I need everybody to know that. But there's also a local, actually, let me pull this up so you see it. It's called 3DNA Dental, and they are actually a reseller of it now. So let me share this with you. Share screen. And so they sell all sorts of equipment. And is it on this? Yeah. Laser cutting, welder, and all this stuff. I think one of these was the bender. The 4D aligner. Well, I don't know where it went. It might be on a separate page. Anyway, if I find it, I'll put it in the... I'm doing this from memory. So, anyway. I did interview these guys in a live stream. So, it was interesting to talk about. But they told me on a phone call, hey, we're selling those too. Send some people our way. So, tell them Cade sent you. And you might be able to buy from them in the future. So, with that being said, I am going to end the live stream. Thank y'all, and thank you for joining as I prep bend 10 hollies in an hour. Many of you can do that on your own, but that lower one's complicated. Trust me. Let's see. Do I have a fancy outro video? I do. Okay. All right. I'm going to end it there. And until then, oh, here's my cup. Happy bending. Pete says bye.